you know, a drop like this could be the way. Let's go into game number 3. This decides which one of these players is going to the round of 16.
Up here in the top right in the pink, the Protoss player he is.
KT roster MyuNgSiK.
These zoom-ins are like a little bit faster than I'm used to. He's not chewing gum.
He's not chewing gum. Changing up his style here.
Yeah. Down to the bottom right, in green.
GSL Green Wings Curve.
We are vertical on this map, and that's pretty good for air play in general versus cross. And it also means that medevacs are going to be a little bit more vulnerable. That's right, Hot6 can. To the bottom right, you know, on the right side of the map in general, there's a lot of dead air space where you can catch medevacs where they can't drop the Marines out to save them.
Yeah. In general, I just feel like this map overall is so good for this style.
So many ways to try to move around. Like if you look at the middle of the mini-map right now, you can see all these holes and ridges. Obviously, Vikings do really well against Colossi in a situation like this because it's hard for the Stalkers to get underneath and do any pickoffs. But in a situation where you have Phoenixes, then the Phoenixes kind of become the dominant units until the Viking count gets high enough. You can pick off medevacs, you can pick off a unit that gets too far to one side or the other. If your opponent makes a pathing mistake with his medevacs, flies him over the ridge, then he loses those. Same with the Vikings. So, I mean, that's talking about like some real technical stuff right there on how these units are going to path across this map. But that's part of the reason we saw some of these engagements go so difficult for Terrans.
Yeah. Maybe part of the reason why MyuNgSiK picked this map in, like, specifically compared to other maps.
Well, the gas here is a bit late. It's been favoring going 1 gas with 3 rather than the 2 and 2 that we've seen become more popular. Just a variation on the style, not too major. This map does have 2 ramps that you could defend. You know, there's like a big secondary ramp down past the 3rd base, which you can take almost for free. We are going to see that Nexus planted now. Command cert goes down actually first, after the Reaper, which is now going across the map. So these players starting things off as simple and normal as it could be for a PvT. Only time will tell what we're going to see.
I predict the next part is that the Reaper's going to jump into the main base, and the Mothership Core is going to pop out just in time to stop it from doing any damage.
Yeah,
well, there it is.
But not to stop it from seeing the pylon locations.
Yeah.
Does see that one at least. That's an important tell. So maybe when he wants to check later to see if there's a Stargate going up, that's where you might check, or that's where you might scan.
Nice building placement on that Cybernetics core is going to force that Reaper to go away instead of going behind the mineral line.
Yeah. And 2 additional barracks now. Finishing up, getting closer and closer over there to completion.
And
Very standard.
Stargate.
Yep. It makes it at the back of his mineral line, so the Reaper is going to be much less likely to scout that. You know what? Here's an interesting thought, Brendan. What about making a Thor, or 2 Thors, or 3 Thors? Because, you know, I mean, think about it. They did just get buffed to. It's not buffed per se, but their priority changed. What this means is the Thors will, if they have the choice of firing at a Roach on the ground, for example, or Mutalisk in the sky, because this is actually specifically targeted towards this matchup, the Thor will fire at the Mutalisk first now, whereas it was the opposite before. This will also be true of Phoenixes versus Stalkers.
Yeah, very true. You add that into your mix maybe, and it does a lot better against those Phoenixes that he's been having trouble with. And he scouts the Stargate and sees the Oracle making, so he's gonna know this kind of style is on the way once again.
I'm really thinking about Thors now. Heavily countered, easily targeted by Immortals. Obviously, Stalkers do well against them. Take up a lot of supply. They do attack 4 times, do bonus to light. Those are Phoenixes. I have to think about this a little bit more. I may end up seeing something like this in this game, but only time will tell. And so far, it's just that Oracle opening.
I feel like it would definitely be hard to get a larger number of Thors, especially if you're trying to make bio with Ghosts and like a 26 Viking count as well. Maybe you go a little bit lighter on the Vikings because you do have those Thors. But then again, the Colossi in the back would be less touched then. And
no damage done so far with that robotic Squidward flying around.
is that what it is, a robotic Squidward?
I swear, man, it looks like his face. It's like robot version from the future.
Yeah. Second Oracle on the way.
Yeah, actually, he hasn't committed to 2 in any of the previous games. He's making Immortals, actually.
Yeah.
Immortals, multiple Oracles, and Colossi might be doing a timing attack.
Could be a variation of this build. Try to go aggressive here off of 2 bases.
Third Oracle. MC, is it you? Let's see.
So.
See who makes a bunch of gates. Bay is done. I think you might see one of those decks. Got to save that Oracle, though. Cannot lose it.
This is going to be such a good style against the heavy Marine style that Kira is going for right now. He's making only Marines.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're walking across now. He's going to scout the Immortal, obviously. Stalker's on the high ground. He's going to slow this push down a little bit. He needs that Colossus out.
Yeah, that Colossus needs to be in this mix.
He's actually going to shut this down so hard with his Oracles. But this is the combat shield variation. He has 35 Marines with combat shields. This is actually the same type of push we saw him use in his series against Paralyze. That Immortal is easily going to be targeted down here. Here come the Oracles, though, and there's a Time Warp. One Oracle targeted, and he's just going to back out. This ends up being a pretty good trade overall for Cure.
Yeah, but MyuNgSiK is on the chase, and I think he should be fine, especially since that Colossus has popped out. A second one is on the way.
There's a lot of snipes there on those expensive units, though. Yeah, this means that if he was planning on doing an attack, it's definitely not going to work anymore. Yeah, adds Forge, getting that range upgrade, and the Phoenix. So if the attack was his plan, it's not anymore. Oh, God, he's going to lose one of those Oracles as well.
You don't want to trade 1 Marine for 1 Oracle. That's a terrible trade.
Yeah, don't get ripped off. Your friend tells you it's okay. Even if it's a holographic Marine, man, it's just not worth it. Even if it's a first edition holographic Marine.
No, it's never worth it.
It's never worth it.
Marines are like the Rattatas of this game. Well, I guess those would be like more like Zerglings.
Honestly, they might be more like just a normal basic Pokemon, like a Staryu or something, if you have a water deck.
Yeah. I can see it working that way.
They become Starmie when they get their combat shields and their stim. So in this case, they're Starmie, Brendan. But
yeah,
you still don't want to trade your holographic Charizard for it. It's just
no.
Not worth it.
Never. And again, that green circle is just slightly off. Just thought I'd remind you.
Yeah, no, you know how I feel about this. So this game is actually taking a bit of a turn for the slower, as it's difficult for Cure to get in there with all these Phoenixes around. He could like force his way in with an elevator, but while he's trying to do that, the Colossi are just going to have a field day.
Yeah, and there's going to be 4 with range at that moment, so with the super heavy Marine lineup here for the Cure, not so good. Very nice revelation here. Good tag on the entire army, so he's going to know exactly where it is at all times.
Yeah, and especially the Medivacs and the Widow Mines. Really good to know exactly where they're going down. Not going to be able to set up any traps or anything while they're revealed. And drops, obviously, you know exactly where to intercept those with his Phoenixes. Circle's out of here, man. So, second Stargate, +1. Starting to look pretty MyuNgSiK. Starting
to look pretty MyuNgSiK. Disgusting.
Gross. Those Phoenixes, man. He's too many.
Yeah.
The one thing he has cut out, actually, this time, and I think he's done this as a result that the timing he might have wanted to hit with Colossi earlier just didn't really line up. And he made a lot of Oracles and things just didn't work out, so he had to kind of cut cannons. He's not got 4 cannons at all his bases this time. He's been a bit conservative. But with how much control he has over the map, and with these tags on the army constantly, he doesn't really have to worry about that. You know, he's got his Phoenixes in positions where he can shut the drops down pretty easily. His Colossus count is healthy. He wasn't stifled at all during his early game.
Yeah, that's for sure. And again, just a pretty passive game. Cure, he's decided to take, again, this route where he just lets MyuNgSiK build up like this, and it's pretty understandable. I mean, he tried to make something work earlier on, but with the Colossus popping out, he was totally fine. MyuNgSiK, that is. Another nice tag here.
Wow, great tag there. I'm just like looking at it, and it's all its glory, man.
Yeah. They like all have halos or something.
I guess he's playing no tag backs, man. Can't actually find where the Phoenixes are.
That's a dead Marine.
Yeah. Definitely could have used some help there. More and more Phoenixes coming out, and the Viking production has started as well.
Yeah,
I'd like to
Ghosts
see a
again.
comparison on like where we're at. Okay, thank you, Heaven. 11 to 12, actually in favor of the Vikings right now. One or two good Widowmine hits with some EMPs could change everything.
Widowmine hits will be key. He's only got 2 so far, though.
Yeah, I think that's all he's going to use. I think he's figured out, like in previous series, the Widowmines is just not really helping him too much. There's a lot of bio, and the upgrades are flowing.
Yeah, and again, skip on the upgrades of MyuNgSiK. Here are all those cannons coming in a little bit later. See 6 being made.
He's scared of one of these timers coming across him after punishing the SCV pull or something, which we haven't seen at all today. All right, 2-2's getting closer here, but he's really just struggling to approach. And basically, MyuNgSiK has gotten this army where he gets maxed out, then he just bullies the Terran while he takes his base. He's like, I don't care how many bases you have. You can't build a comp that's better than mine. You know, I've been left alone for long enough I can get my Colossus count up to a sick count, in this case of 6. 19 Phoenixes to be 21. This is really difficult for Terran. It used to be Terrans would just make 4 Phoenixes, or 4 Vikings at a time and just fight a straight up fight with a good bio force and take these fights, but this has somehow been made a little bit better by MyuNgSiK here.
Yeah. It really speaks to the extra upgrades to air and the way they fight and the extra cannons as well. But here we go, a fight. The Vikings are coming in, but the Phoenixes are doing work once again. The Colossus count is not as large as normal here. It does go down to 3, and there's still a lot of bio left.
Yeah, 16 Marauders, 37 Marines on the ground here. Time Warp goes down, slowing them down, making it so that you can actually just run away with this Colossi, but there's too many now. He's actually going to target that Nexus down. The Colossi trying to do what they can here. There's only 2 left. Another one pops out. Is he going to save the Nexus? The answer is no, but he will clean up the entire Terran army for it. Or will he?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a surprising amount of units here that we didn't really see.
Those upgrades, man.
Yeah.
You look at these fights, you used to watch them fights like this, where the Protoss is at like 3-3 or Terrans at 3-3, or maybe even at 2-2. But he's about to be, I think, 4 sets of upgrades ahead with that +3 attack finishing. I think, like, MyuNgSiK has only no, he doesn't have anything. He's already 4 behind. He's about to be 5 upgrades behind.
It's incredible. And now he's like 2 bases behind as well. That was a much better fight than the ones we've seen in the past. I think what was different there is that MyuNgSiK on this map, you know, getting those Colossi in position to get some really good shots down is a bit harder.
Yeah.
And he also had a lot less. It looked like about 2 less than normal. I mean, usually he's got about 8 at that point.
Yeah, he had 6 or so. And then the Nexus blocked his Colossi. They had a bit of a clunky movement there, trying to get into position to fight the bio. And all during that time, the bio was fighting Phoenixes. And then once he got close to the Nexus, he was, you know, just knocking the Nexus down.
Oh man, this is such a bad position for MyuNgSiK now. He's way behind. He's on 2 bases, struggling to get a 3rd. Kira's just fine. He's got 4 bases and amazing upgrades.
Double upgrade, or double expand here attempt. So 6 more Vikings coming out. It's just combating the low economy now, knowing, okay, are you making Colossi or Phoenixes? And how many Phoenixes can you really afford to make? I'm going to outproduce you in Phoenixes, or rather in Vikings. My Bioforce is still strong, plus I've got Ghosts now, a lot of them. I'm going to be able to knock this base down easy peasy. It needs to be a cancel. And over here, he scans the army location. Ah, you went over to save this base. Well, let's see. Widowmine goes to tank, actually. And he's got these units targeted on Colossi. He needs to pull back. But here come the rest of these units, and the EMPs are pretty decent.
Very
Vikings,
decent.
on the other hand, not sticking around too long.
But again, there's just an incredible amount of bio still on the ground. 2 more Colossi pop out, but there's no support for them. The Phoenixes are trying to lift whatever they can. Has Cure actually broken this comp? It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it, man. I think what we're watching here is finally the answer is really just these upgrades and confident engagements. Don't let the Pros stick around on these bases for too long. Eventually, you wipe out his economy, and that's going to be it. We are going to have a Terran in the round of 16. GG. Cure's moving on.
He's done it. So excited for this guy. Very well played today. He battled through that really strong composition. Looking really, really good. I also have to say, you know, we didn't talk about this at all, but like MyuNgSiK, he went for that weird kind of timing it looked like with the Immortals and the Oracles, and that put a hitch in his build. He was way behind on the Colossi count at that point, and I don't know. Kira just played it very well. That early aggression really helped him out.
Yeah. I mean, the engagements that he took were better. He was really confident. He was comfortable enough to push the engagements into the economy straight up via ground. He didn't do any careless drops either. And I think he knew, like, if I cripple his economy, I can make Vikings, and he can't just keep making these Phoenixes. He can't just keep making these Colossi. And cost a lot of gas, you know. He eliminated those bases, and that's where he got that lead.
Yeah.
So, Cures and Code S, another Terran here, moving forward. And
so excited for this guy.
We're going to find out who's not going to Code S, one of our 2 no-goes in our losers match after a quick commercial